Well, that'll surely teach me not to back down on my predictions anymore. Hey there, peeps, Detective Woo here. Um, yes, last week was interesting to say the least. I probably could have done better than what I did. Um, 9-4 isn't bad. I probably could have been 10-3 if I just kept one of my picks that I originally had that I made on stream. But I kind of get. I probably should. I probably do deserve to get punished for changing it. So also for believing in the Bears of all teams. So I sit at 9-4, which brings me up to a total of 78-42, which is pretty still. It's still pretty damn good. Not gonna lie. Um, but yes, it's just one of those things that you kind of wish you take back, but sometimes you gotta learn from it. But anyways, with that out of the way, kind of reviewing what happened in the past week or so in terms of football. I the only thing I was stupid about this game was thinking that it was going to be close because Jesus Christ, it was not even remotely. Um, I think I think Atlanta's just now a bad team, but I did not know. This is also the team that probably could like upset someone like the Eagles if they really wanted to. Do I really think they will? Probably not, but still, it's games like this where you just have so much trouble believing in the Falcons. 34-10. Yikes. Oh my god, that was humiliating. I know they didn't have Michael Penix Jr., but still, that hurt. That hurt. Buffalo came back swinging after their two-game losing streak and going to the bye. They took down the Panthers 40-9. Man, that was certainly a beatdown. I guess other games that we got. The Bear. This is the one that I'm talking about. I should have stuck with Baltimore. I was afraid with Jackson going out though that the Bears would just handle things. Clearly they didn't, and I live to regret it. Yikes. Let's see. Other games. I did say this was to be a comeback game for the Texans. I just was not really convinced with the 49ers consistency going into this game. So I guess that's a little bit of momentum going my way. Let's see. I was gonna be so pissed if the Giants won and I didn't pick them this week. But sometimes things like that happen. Um, 38-20. I did not think it was going to be that much of a blowout. I thought it was going to be a bit of a closer of a game. But you know what? Sometimes you take those, especially if you're the Eagles trying to find anything that gets to get going for you. Um, of course the Jets win this game because the Bengals beat the Steelers last week. Of course they had to lose the game to the Jets the following week. Probably pretty standard for the Bengals. Ugh. What a way to lose your first game though, or to allow a team to win their first game. The Patriots handled business against Cleveland as everyone expected. So the Bucks handled the Saints. The Saints actually looked kind of bad at home this time. Benching Spencer Rattler did not do anything to help that offense. Oh boy, I regret this one too. The Cowboys. Apparently they can't play consistently either. Except apparently they just alternate between winning and losing games these days. With the Broncos taking care of business against them pretty handily. Colts beating the Titans up, no surprise there. Packers actually looked pretty good on Sunday Night Football. 35-25. Don't let the score fool you. The Packers kind of put away the Steelers pretty early. Pretty no, not pretty early. Kind of later in the game, but still enough to where the last touchdown Pittsburgh score was pretty much a garbage time one. And finally, the offense was a bit slow to get started, but the Chiefs held off the Commanders 28-7 on Monday Night Football. Um, Again, took a little bit for the offense to get rolling. Mahomes did have two picks. One of them did not look great, and the other one, Kelsey could not hold on the ball to save his life. So you're just left with the Chiefs kind of maybe missing some points there. Hello, Zir. How you doing? Anyways, moving on to week 9, we got Some games that could be pretty decisive, some games that could be pretty close. Um, I'm a little frightened for this game, but we'll see. Um, but let's take start things off. 7:15, pretty much exactly 24 hours from today, from this very moment in time, we will see the ew. What is this Thursday night game? We got the 2-5 Baltimore Ravens taking on the 2-6 Miami Dolphins. The Ravens really got back on track, even though they didn't have Lamar Jackson to play in the game. Um, the Ravens still took care of business against the Bears, ending their 4-game winning streak. Um, I think with the injuries starting to heal up a little bit more, Baltimore's going to look more and more like the team that everyone thought they were going to look like. Um, but yeah, I think Baltimore should be okay going forward if they prove that they can beat teams like the Bears at home. I think they'll be okay. Um, Huntley had himself a fine game, one enough, but it was mainly Derrick Henry carrying a little bit of the load. 21 carries for 71 yards. Um, it wasn't exactly a particular game on offense for the Ravens though. It was more so the defense, so surprisingly. Um, which we they did get a pick off of Caleb Williams. Um, pretty much managed to hold him 50% of the time on third downs. Um, yeah, it was just a pretty. It's actually a pretty decent game for the Ravens defense. So they'll look forward to continue doing that going forward, especially with getting some of their key guys back. On the other side of the game, we got Miami. Jesus Christ, where was that Dolphins team all year? Putting up 34 against the Falcons. Yes, I know the Falcons weren't playing without Penix, but still, 34 points is something you won't be complaining about as a Dolphins fan this year. Um, Tua had himself a game as well. Over 200 yards of passing, 4 touchdowns, and no picks. And that is the game you really want to see Tagovailoa have all the time. Um, on the other side, you did force a fumble from the Falcons. You pretty much dominated the time of possession in this game. And yeah, your offense was the real key to taking this game. Now the question is that offense going to stay consistent this week against the Ravens? It's a little hard to believe, especially considering where the Dolphins are at this point. Their offense really has. This is probably the first game where my last week where Miami actually looked like the team that everyone thought they were going to be at their full potential. So off of one game. I highly doubt Miami is just having this kind of year, kind of like resurgence like they did a couple of years ago. But you never know. Miami is the team that has done this before. I think they came back from like a 1-7 start to finish like 9-8 or something like that. They did miss the playoffs that year, but it was still a resurgence that everyone still sometimes talks about. The Ravens, though, they actually look like they're getting healthier. It's going to be very scary for the Miami offense to have to go against the research Baltimore defense again. And if Huntley can, I think it's Huntley still the quarterback for the Ravens, for the backup at least. If he can get things going, I think they'll be able to take care of the Miami defense pretty damn well. So I am going to go Baltimore here. I think, especially with the schedule coming up for the Ravens, if they want any chance of a postseason, they have to get clicking now while the schedule's weak. And fortunately for them, it starts with the Miami Dolphins on the road. So I do think the Ravens get this one. If the Dolphins win this one, though, it will be kind of it might be over for the Ravens, but you also wonder, could the Miami Dolphins do it again? Which I don't think they will, but let Dolphins fans dream. Now starting the noon slate on Sunday, November 2nd. You got the Chicago Bears sitting at 4-3, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals at 3-5. Ooh, jeez. We just discussed the Bears a little bit in the previous game. The Bears. They didn't even have to face Lamar Jackson, and they still lost by double digits. It was not a great game. Caleb Williams did have about 280 yards of passing, but he also threw an INT, no touchdowns. It was just not the it was not the greatest day for Chicago. Uh, but yeah, it's especially the penalties. It kind of hurt them a little bit. 11 taken for 79 yards, and yeah, just kind of it's a weird and kind of sad way to end a four-game losing streak or winning streak. So they're hoping to get the pieces back together, and they have a chance with the Bengals on the schedule. Oh, Cincinnati. Oh, you put up 38 points, uh, and you still find a way to lose by a single point. Flacco had himself a day. He had 223 total yards, so completed about 21 of 34 passes, and he had two touchdowns on the day. So it wasn't a horrible day. In fact, it was actually a pretty damn good day by Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati offense. The problem was the defense picked today to allow Justin Fields to go to throw 244 yards on them. Plus Brees Hall, a game-winning touchdown throw at the end. Man, that just really defines your season, doesn't it, Cincinnati? But going into this game, their competition gets a lot harder with the Bears coming up, especially with them losing. They're looking to get something back on track, and it's just not looking very bright for Cincinnati at the moment. I don't know how people think Cincinnati, or I don't know how more than half people say Cincinnati's gonna win this game. Um, you kind of take a loss like that, it's kind of demoralizing a little bit. At least the Bears, you kind of expected Baltimore to have a little bit of resurgence with some of their guys coming back, especially on defense. But the Bengals, you really had no reason because the Jets just look absolutely lifeless. So I am gonna go Chicago here. I think if they can get the if Williams and the offense can get back on track this week, I think they'll have an easy time dealing with the Bengals. And is this a close game? I think this definitely has the potential to be a very close game. But if you're the Chicago Bears, you just need to get this win because a loss, maybe momentum shifts back into same old Bears with a loss, doesn't it? But hey, you're still above 500. I wouldn't panic quite yet, but you need to get your act together pretty fast. And for the Bengals, Joe Burrow cannot come back any sooner. Following that, you got the 3-4 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 5-2 Detroit Lions. The Vikings, I think Carson Wentz is now out for the season on Thursday night, and that was probably the least of their concerns. They got blown the doors off them, 37-10. Yeah, Carson Wentz dealing with the shoulder injuries. Uh, Still decided to keep playing and through the games, and now his season's pretty much over. They didn't put J.J. McCarthy back in because he was not good to go. They put their third string, Max Brosmer, into the game. Didn't really help him out a whole lot. And yeah, it was just domination from the very start. The defense shell of their former selves, and it's just getting a lot uglier for Minnesota these days. You wonder though about J.J. McCarthy. I would hope the Vikings at least have a look at him, see if he's ready to go. Um, I think he is supposed to come back after his ankle injury a couple weeks ago. So that's going to be kind of huge for the Vikings, so they don't have to rely on the third string now. And yeah, Minnesota just hoping they can get things rolling again with JJ. You still don't know a whole lot about JJ is the thing because he missed the entire season last year due to an injury, and then he missed all but 2 games this season so far with his ankle injury. So you're not entirely sure how well he's gonna play this upcoming week. As for the Lions, I think they've got everything rolling for them so far. I think they had the bye week this past week, but it was fine because on Monday they took really damn good business against against the Buccaneers. I heard Aiden Hutchinson got his contract and was extended. They got all their key players signed throughout the next couple of years. Lions fans are feeling good, and you're finally starting to feel a little bit of hope in Detroit. You're just hoping that hope leads to a Super Bowl. But for this week, they're taking on the Minnesota Vikings. As I said, Carson Wentz is out. JJ's coming back this week. It's in Detroit though, which is a big problem. And the thing is, JJ is still a massive question mark. You don't know what his kind of play is going to be like. You hope he's the guy, and if he beats the Lions, he can definitely prove that. I don't see that happening though. I'm going Detroit in this one. Um, it would be an interesting game if Minnesota made this close, but I don't see how they recover from a blowout loss to the Chargers, then having to go to Detroit the following week, even on I guess extended break. I don't know if you call it an extended bye, but still, I got the Lions winning. They got all this mojo on their side. We'll see how things go though. Following that though, you got the Carolina Panthers sitting at 4-4, taking on the Green Bay Packers, sitting at 5-1-1. The Panthers, after going on that winning streak they had, they got the doors rocked by them last week by the Buffalo Bills. The Bills taking care of business as usual. Especially the Panthers' run defense. Ooh, took a massive hit with Cook running all over them last week. 410 total yards, 245 coming from the ground, and yeah, it just was not a pretty week for the Panthers this past week. They had more rushing yards than total yards of all. The Bills had more rushing yards than the Panthers had total yards. Let that sink in for a second. So obviously, yeah, last week could have gone a lot better for the Panthers. They're looking to get things back into form this week against the Packers. And the Packers, I think for the first time since week 2, actually played a pretty damn complete game. It did come a little later than they would have liked, as they got 21 of the 35 points in the fourth quarter when they were still down 19-14. But yeah, they actually looked like they had some pretty damn good football. It was a bit of a scare, but the Packers did have a pretty damn good game on offense. Love had 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, completing all but 8 of his 37 attempts in the air. Jacobs have going for 33 yards, but it was Manuel Wilson carrying the load, 61 yards on 11 carries, averaging about 5.5 yards per gain. And the defense actually showed up a little bit of old man Aaron Rodgers a little bit. At least in the fourth quarter. Packers fans really don't want to talk about the first 3. But anyways, they had a pretty damn good game. I think they got a little bit of mojo back on their side, especially on the offense, which is really, really lacking these past few weeks. You look for anything these days as a Packers fan, and I think you found it a little bit. And yeah, they get to host the Carolina Panthers team that just got the doors rocked off of them by Buffalo. You're still looking to take advantage of the easy schedule while you still have it, so I gotta go Green Bay here. If the Panthers do win this game, you might start talking about maybe is Bryce Young the answer on offense. You just never know. But so far, I think I got Green Bay. Somehow this team is still the number 1 seed in the NFC. I don't know how, but maybe they'll prove to me this week that they deserve it. So we'll see how things go there. Next up, you got the Los Angeles Chargers sitting at 5-3, taking on the Tennessee Titans sitting at 1-7. The Chargers blew the doors off of Carson Wentz and a little bit of Max Brosmer, and the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday Night Football. The Chargers, Justin Fields had himself a game. 227 yards, completing all but 7 of his 25 passes, 3 touchdowns. He did have the one pick, but still a really good game from him. And Vidal had 117 yards, leading the ground game this game. 23 carries, 5 yards per gain, and a touchdown. It was a pretty damn good day for the Chargers overall. Something they really needed after kind of having a slow free fall after the 3-0 start. I think it was actually 4-0, something like that. But still, you really, really enjoy seeing that. Meanwhile, for the Titans, though, things just got from ugly to worse. Something tells me the coaching isn't a problem. I think it's just the Titans being flat out god awful, just like Cam Ward once said. Meanwhile, for the Titans, though, Cam Ward's great. I really think he's going to be a promising young QB for the Titans. But that O-line cannot save Ward to save their life. Oh my god. 4 sacks on the day. And the defense just completely just whatever reason didn't show up. I don't know how else to express it. So, yeah, this game probably not going to be close. I am going to LA here. It would be a Chargers thing, though, to lose this game somehow. I don't see that happening. The Titans just feel a little bit more helpless these days. But yeah, the Titans. I hope you get stuff together. Your only win this season so far has been a comeback victory against the Cardinals back in like week 4. So it's like, ugh, not looking good for y'all. As for the Chargers, actually, I really hope the Titans win this game because I really do not need LA being in front of us right now. But anyways, Chargers win. If the Titans win, I will be laughing my ass off, and it'll be very, very funny. Hello, Lucky. I did not notice you there until now. This is not football. This is football. Something very, very different and more American. Next up, though, we got the Atlanta Falcons sitting at 3-4, taking on the New England Patriots sitting at 6-2. The Falcons had probably the worst performance of the season last week against the Dolphins. Yes, Kirk Cousins was playing this game, but still, that does not excuse the defense for letting 34 points on a miserable Dolphins offense that was missing Tyreek Hill. It was just not a great day, and if you want Cousins' stats, he didn't have any picks, but he went on under 200 yards this game. So he didn't have particularly a bad game, just nothing really great going on for him. If you want to blame something, blame the ground game. Bijan Robinson, supposedly their leading rusher, had 25 yards on 9 carries. That averages out to about 2.8 yards per carry. It was ugly. And I think he even had a fumble lost on that game that was returned. So, yeah, it was not a pretty day for the Falcons on offense. They need to get stuff back, and they need to get back on track. And for some reason, it's just a Falcons thing, for whatever reason, to lose to Miami at home in a blowout fashion and then probably beat their team that they're about to face. The New England Patriots this year, I think that's a really surprising story going on in Foxborough. Drake May, man, I think he actually might be legit for the Patriots. I know we said that about Mac Jones, but hey, we can ignore that. 282 yards against the Browns defense, which is no laughing matter. 18 for 24, 3 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but still does not take away from his pretty damn good day on against Cleveland. The Patriots somehow look like the real deal, and it's gonna be very interesting to see how the Falcons come into the Foxborough and potentially win this game, because I really don't see a path for them to win this game. So I am gonna go New England here. really hope the dynasty isn't back, or the first dynasty. Keep the second one for the one for the Chiefs. But yeah, it's just not gonna be pretty in Foxborough. But for some reason, Atlanta could still win this game despite losing and blowout to Miami last week. I don't see that happening though. Because you know what? It's the Atlanta Falcons. Next up, though, we got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the New York Giants. The 49ers, I kind of figured they'd have a letdown game this week, taking on the Houston Texans. They have been overperforming a little bit, but still 5-3. You don't complain about that these days. They're still very well in the race for the NFC West, and hopefully they'll get some of the key guys back for a playoff push later on this season. As for the Giants, on top of being blown out by the Eagles this past week, you lost Cam Scatterboo for the season, potentially because of a gruesome ankle injury. Oh my god. But yeah, you just hope and pray for him. Hope everything's all right for Scats, and you just cannot get more unfortunate as a Giants fan. Although Jackson Dart still looks pretty damn good, so you probably have found your quarterback for the future. Maybe the Giants can actually compete for a postseason berth next year. But in today's game, or not this week's game, correction, um, I don't see how the Giants could beat San Francisco. Maybe if they can get if Dart has himself a massive game, I think there's a chance. It does have the Vikings to be close because both of these teams are kind of injury rattled. But I think the 49ers have a better team on paper than the Giants. Plus, the way San Francisco plays, they'll probably win this game anyways. So I am going to go San Francisco here. I would not be surprised if the Giants somehow took this one, but you just hope that both of these teams can get better soon and more healthy, because you know this could potentially be a renewal of a playoff rivalry, and if you're an old time NFL fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're halfway through, but let's continue on going through the next noon game. You got the Indianapolis Colts sitting at 7-1, the best record in the entire league so far, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, sitting at 4-3. The Colts, man, is there any sign of stopping this team? Daniel Jones had himself a pretty damn good game. 272 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns, 21 for 29. And Jonathan Taylor had himself a game as well. 153 total yards, 12.8 yards per carry for two touchdowns on the day. He is having himself a year as well. That offense is completely rolling for the Colts right now. And if you're the Steelers, you might be a bit worried because that defense of yours isn't playing as well as you had hoped. They allowed Jordan Love to put up nearly 300 yards of passing on them, and it led to the fourth quarter collapse, which resulted in a 10-point loss for the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. They're hoping to rebound this week, though, against the Colts. It's going to be kind of tough to do so, though, because the Colts offense just looks that unstoppable. And the Steelers defense is certainly lacking this season. So, plus, also, the Steelers are the team that lost to the Bengals 2 weeks ago. And also, just does not look that consistent. Maybe the Bengals somehow sneak back into them. Maybe this is the best chance the Ravens have to potentially catching the Steelers. But at the end of the day, you just got to go with this Indianapolis Colts. You got to go with the hot hand. And the Colts just look like the better team all around. And it's going to be a pretty damn interesting game. Maybe Pittsburgh can make this a pretty damn competitive game. But the Colts just look like they are the team to beat at the moment. Surprisingly, which I don't think anyone said Daniel Jones was going to be leading the team with the best record in the entire NFL through 8 weeks. But hey, it's crazier things have happened in this league. You just never know. Next up, though, you got the final new game. You got the Denver Broncos taking on the Houston Texans. The Broncos, two straight weeks where the offense finally showed up. Bo Nix had himself a pretty damn good game against the Cowboys this week. Um, Looking at his personal stats, 247 yards, 19 for 29 through the air, 4 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but still pretty damn good day for Bo Nix. And the offense looks like they're finally getting somewhere again. For the Texans, they also have themselves a pretty good bounce back game. The Texans, maybe they have a little bit of life left in them. Stroud had himself a pretty damn good game as well. Maybe not in terms of touchdowns to interceptions ratio, but definitely in terms of yards and completions. 30 for 39, 318 yards. Also give credit to freaking Jaquavis Marks a little bit, and Nick Chubb for carrying the ground game together. Marks went 5.6 yards per carry. Chubb went 3.3. Both of them got the calls a little bit more on the rushing game. You're just hoping there's a little bit more life for the Texans on offense. And that defense really held down the Niners offense pretty damn well. Holding McCaffrey to just 3.1 yards per carry. It was a good day for the defense, mainly. So, going into this game, it's going to be kind of tough. Looks like the defense may be a bit more of the stronger factor for the Texans, and same for the Broncos on their side. So, the question mainly is, who's going to be able to get through and slow down the other team's offense? And I got to go with Denver's, just because not only are they the better defense, the Texans O-line still has a bunch of question marks on it. And it's just one game for the Texans where Stroud didn't get killed in the backfield. The Broncos, I think, are the better team. I don't see them losing this week. So I am going to go Denver in this game, as much as I really don't want to. But it is going to be interesting to see how the Texans respond after beating the Niners last week. And maybe, who knows, maybe the Texans will help the Chiefs out a little bit, take this game. But we'll see. Starting off the 305 games, though. In Las Vegas, you got the 4-3 Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the 21st century's version of the Black Plague, known as the Las Vegas Raiders, sitting at 2-5. The Jaguars were on the bye this week, I believe, so they didn't really have to worry about much in terms of playing, which I think came at a pretty damn good time, because the Jaguars just did not look great these past few games, especially when they came back from London. 35-7, yikes. Was just not a great game for the Jags. They're hoping to get things rolling again. They do have the get-right game this week against the Raiders before taking on the Texans next week. So they're hoping to take advantage of this while they still can. Because if you're the Raiders, yeah, it just was not a pretty showing. Their last game against the Chiefs, getting blown out 31-0. Probably the worst offensive performance I have ever seen. That combined with probably the best defensive performance I've seen from the Chiefs really, really tanked any hope your offense had of getting anything. But yes, the Raiders are just that bad. I don't know how else to put it. You're just hoping to get anything going for them this week. I could see this as an upset, potentially, just because the Raiders got humiliated that badly, then went on the bye, and now are looking to really make a statement. Hey, we're not that bad. But the problem is, Jacksonville also went on the bye after a very ugly loss. So, the Jaguars are going to be looking for anything to get back on track. I got to go with Jacksonville in this game. It's going to be a very, very interesting game. Maybe the Jaguars can do, or not the Jaguars, the Raiders can do something very, very, very interesting and beat the Jags this week. But who knows? We'll see how things go. Any given Sunday, after all. Up next, you got the New Orleans Saints sitting at 1-7, taking on the LA Rams sitting at 5-2. The Saints just did not look like the Same Saints we saw it in the dome these past few weeks, or throughout the entire season actually. 23-3 loss to a Bucks team that just lost Mike Evans. It was not the prettiest day, and the main problem, Spencer Rattler and Tyler Show, because neither of them could get anything going with that Saints offense, both throwing a pick respectively. So it's going to be a very interesting week for the Saints, as they usually play a lot worse on the road. So I do not expect them to have any fight in this game against the Rams, who I think also are coming back from the bye. I want to say, yes, they're also coming back from the bye in London after a blowout win over the Jags. They're feeling good, well rested. I gotta go with the Rams, especially at home. It's not gonna be a pretty game. Expect this one to be over by the second quarter, and yeah, it's just gonna be all set for the Rams this upcoming week. Up next, though, the game of the week for CBS. You got the team from the heart of America, four-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, sitting at 5-3, taking on probably our biggest rival in the current Mahomes era, from the team from Orchard Park, the Buffalo Bills, sitting at 5-2. The Chiefs took a bit for them to get rolling this past week. They did not disappoint at the end, though, because having Rice back in the lineup really has helped him. Mahomes did have two picks, though. One of them probably wasn't his fault. The other probably was. So I don't really blame him a whole lot. He got cooking after that. He didn't let it get to his head. And the Chiefs handedly took down Washington, that was missing their big star QB. As for the Bills, they needed that get-right game against the Panthers. 40-9. Massive blowout victory. Josh Allen had himself a pretty damn good game. But it was James Cook who really got things rolling for the Bills offense. 11.4 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 216 total yards. It was a really good day for the Buffalo running game, and that's something the Chiefs really need to keep an eye on this week, as they haven't really been known to slow down the run a whole lot these days, because the defense has gotten a little weaker this year for some reason. I think if the Chiefs can get the offense rolling again, this will be a high-scoring game, but if the offense struggles early, the Bills probably will take advantage pretty damn quickly. Everything in my mind is saying Bills. Everything in my mind is saying Bills this week, because this is usually the one game where the Chiefs, just for the one pretty much game this entire year where you're like, ugh, I don't know actually if the Chiefs should be winning this game. Because the thing is, while we do have Buffalo's number in the playoffs, for whatever reason, we're more evenly matched, and in fact, probably more in Buffalo's favor during the regular season. So it is going to be a bit tougher of a game, especially going to upstate New York to play the Bills. However, I do have confidence in the Chiefs this week. I think their offense is really going to be helping them out a lot, and I think they know this. The Chiefs can pull off wins against the Bills in the regular season at some point. So I think the Chiefs will get this much needed victory, get themselves back further into the playoff race and the divisional race. And yeah, I think the Chiefs can definitely handle business in Buffalo. And if they lose, hey, it's just tradition. We'll get them in the postseason. And then Sunday night football at 7:20 CST, 8:20 Eastern Standard Time, or local time if you're going to the game. You got the Seattle Seahawks sitting at 5-2, taking on the Washington Commanders, sitting at 3-5. Why is this the Sunday night game? Yikes! The Seahawks looked pretty damn good. They got the bye this past week after slaughtering the Texans on Monday Night Football. Sorry if I can pronounce the correct night. Darnold had himself a game that night. 213 yards for over 31 attempts. 17 of them were completed. 1 touchdown. He did have a pick though. Kenneth Walker the third though Had himself a nice game on the ground too. 66 yards, 17 carries. Not a bad day for the Seattle offense, but it was the defense that really got through, forcing 7 punts for the Texans, and also getting a pick off of them. So, despite the Seahawks a little bit of woes on offense with 4 turnovers, the Texans just could not answer on offense. So Seattle did get away with one a little bit, even with a little bit of a good, not great showing by the Seattle offense. And in terms of the Commanders, they did not look great on their Monday Night Football game this past week. They're still missing Jaden Daniels. I don't know whether he's going to be back this week or not. Is he going to be back? Let's check that real quick. I think he is going to be in practices this week. So he looks like he is going to be back, which is going to be huge because they got Scary Terry back this past week, which I was surprised they did. So we'll see how things go for the Commanders on Sunday night. The Seahawks have really proven me wrong this season. I thought they were going to be a little bit worse than they currently are. But as I said, crazier things have happened in this league. The Seahawks, though, they really need this game. So does Washington, though, because the Commanders really do not want to fall to 3-6. I think I gotta go Seattle. I gotta go the hot hand in this game. They just look like the better team, and I think they will get a big W this week to really propel themselves into the NFC West title race. The Commanders, though, I would not be surprised if they won on Sunday Night Football, because Sunday Night Football is usually the game where a lot of crazy things happen. So we'll see. But I gotta go the hot hand. Give me Seattle. And yeah, hopefully Daniels can help you pull out of this slump, Washington. And finally, Monday Night Football. You got the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Dallas Cowboys. The Cardinals, they really, really needed that bye week after losing 5 straight games. The latest of which being a heartbreaking loss to the Packers at home. That offense just is not producing anything more. Although Brissett did have himself a pretty damn good game against the Packers, it was not enough because the defense could not stop the Packers in the fourth quarter. And yeah, you're just looking for answers at this point if you're the Cardinals, sitting at 2-5, cleared last place in the division. As for the Cowboys, you're also looking for answers because that was not a great showing in Denver. 44-24. The offense, Dak Prescott did not have himself a game. He did not. 2 picks on the day. Not even 200 total yards through the air. And yeah, it was just not pretty. Not pretty for the Cowboys offense. And then the defense returned to true form, completely getting rocked. And that's still a big, big question mark for the Cowboys, as maybe they're looking to get in a playoff spot. That's according to Jerry Jones, but we all know he's a big fat idiot. So we'll see how things go. Cardinals sitting at 2-5, Cowboys sitting at 3-4-1. The Cowboys do tend to play better at home. They also tend to, for whatever reason, switch on and off between looking really good and looking really bad. I expect this to be a very high-scoring game. So, in terms of the total points in this game, I would not be surprised if they hit 75 pretty damn easily. But I am going to go with the Cowboys here. I just do not trust the Cardinals a whole lot. Plus, the Cowboys play a lot better at home. So, it's going to be a very interesting game. But I got to go with the team that's probably better in their own house, which is the Cowboys. So, hopefully the Cowboys will get things going for him. Prescott will have himself a bounce-back game. And yeah, things should be all right for Dallas, at least this week. Just like Tom Brady, they can't throw and catch the ball at the same time. Apparently that's the case. But anyways, that's going to be it for my predictions this week. We had 14 games this week. I forgot to mention that. Maybe we'll get 10 wins this week. Maybe this will be the first week this season where I do not have 3 losses. Or more than 3 losses. So, we'll see how things go. Um, it's gonna be a very damn interesting week. I know I picked the favorite quite a lot, um, but it just something telling me it's not gonna be that much of an upset week. I think the biggest upset, according to ESPN, is this game, which I picked the Chiefs, which I think they're actually favored. Just people tend to pick the Bills over us for whatever reason, which they're probably gonna live to regret that. I think I picked the favorite for every single game this week. So yes, except for this game apparently, which I don't know how the Texans are favored, but you never know with these kind of statistical games or whatnot. We'll see how things go. Thank you guys so much for watching though. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share the channel around. It helps me grow. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing this weekend for streaming. It's gonna be on Sunday because Saturday I'm gonna be tired as hell after the Texas Tech game. Speaking of the Kansas State, they won on Saturday, which means we are getting a cover from me. Mr. Brightside is gonna be coming out hopefully by the end of the year. I'm pretty damn busy with a bunch of other stuff though, so don't count on it. Yes. So, I think I might draw the thumbnail myself. I'll see on that. Do not quote me on that. Do not quote me on that. But with that being said, see you later, peeps. Hopefully the Chiefs break this regular season streak against the Bills, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.